look like you need to go to the dentist. You need to look like you need to brush your teeth. You look like you need hygiene. You look like you need help. Tell your man 50 send you an ounce or something, yo.
So I knew I was okay. He sold 11 million records. He had deals with Jay-Z and them, but Jay-Z ain't gonna never. Dude, I always tell him all the time, Jay-Z ain't treating me like this.
Oh, he definitely like playing. This nigga.
Jay-Z might not even say hard as him.
So we just had a lit. Jay-Z will never take you to a party like this.
Don't complain, but he's got a good life, man.
Oh. Jim Jones really chose the wrong smoke this time because Uncle Murda is not letting this one slide at all. Listen to this. Jim tried to clown Tony Yayo for saying 50 Cent treats his artists way better than Jay-Z ever did, and he thought it was just jokes. But hold up, that one slick comment cracked the door open to a whole lot of problems. Things spiraled quickly, and now the tension is heavy and very real. Uncle Murda, who's been connected to both Rockefeller and G-Unit, stepped forward and made it crystal clear who actually has pull out here.
Yeah, Jay don't look
out for Bleak like Fib look out for you.
Yeah, I don't think so.
I just want to clear that up. Hov don't have to.
And then he said he eat his home halal.
You know what I mean?
All right. Okay.
I'm chewing halal on my own.
He eats on his own. I eat on my own too.
Right.
I go on my own tour. I just came off tour.
Right.
When have you seen Bleak on tour? On his own. Jay-Z is not a bad guy. Bleak is not a bad guy. I'm not saying. I'm saying to you that Jay-Z was all business with them niggas. When Buck up on his taxes, 50 a piece or more. When Prodigy bought a house and needed more money, 50 a piece or more. Prodigy are paying back. The thing with 50 is it was business and we was friends. I don't feel like Bleak was Jay-Z friend.
He's basically saying 50 has been standing on business with his day ones for decades. No wavering, no excuses. No switching sides. No slick moves behind the scenes. Meanwhile, Jay-Z's idea of loyalty is starting to look more like a short-term deal, and that's where it gets spicy. Once your value drops, that Rock Nation love fades fast, like that exclusive invite that somehow never arrives. You feel me? Some folks are calling it harsh, others are calling it the truth. But either way, something's being exposed. Uncle Murda wasn't just running his mouth for attention. There's real history behind those words, and that's exactly why the internet is split straight down the middle right now. And no, this didn't come out of thin air either. Hold up. It all started when Tony Yayo made a comment in an interview that honestly sounded fair if you've been paying attention to how both 50 Cent and Jay-Z really move. Tony Yayo flat out said Jay-Z doesn't look after his people the same way 50 does.
Next down, that's an indication to me he might have some feelings towards me. That is just everywhere I got an issue. He show up around it. So I mean, you don't get music, because music ain't usually my motivation. My morals come off the curb. So if you see a nigga keep being around it, when he come around, how your antennas go. So he in a position where he might feel like he did.
According to Yayo, 50's been holding him down way harder than Jay ever did for Memphis Bleak. And listen, that comparison hits heavy. And yeah, that's really saying something. But hold up, Yayo wasn't throwing direct shots at Jay-Z like people tried to spin it. He was speaking from his own experience and calling it how he sees it. His point was simple. When it comes to loyalty, nobody operates like 50 Cent. 50 doesn't just talk about brotherhood for interviews and cameras. He actually lives it. He keeps his day ones on tour, plugs them into TV opportunities, brings them into business moves, and even flies them out just to unwind. All he asks in return is loyalty, nothing more. That's real boss energy, not the fake kind. Then, Jim Jones jumped into the mix, and that's exactly when things took a left turn. During a conversation with Memphis Bleak, Jim started clowning Yayo, saying he was down bad and still leaning on 50 to stay straight, trying to frame it as dependence instead of loyalty. And that move lit the internet on fire instantly.
You know, we from the hood, so people look at Bleak and don't understand the business he's doing. They always look at Jay like, oh,
Yeah. That's why. That's why you got like Yayo talking about, Jay don't take care. I don't need Jay to go on tour.
You'll smoke hard coke,
Yo, chill. Yo, chill.
You look like you need to be taken care of, nigga. You look like you need to go to the dentist. You need to look like you need to brush your teeth. You look like you need hygiene. You look like you need help. Tell your man 50 send you an ounce or something, yo.
You do need
you
that
might
help.
need
That's
2
why-
ounces.
That's why
Paid
you
in full
looking
move. I got a G for every bump in your face. I promise you that.
That's
I promise you that.
Why you worrying about
Peon, you broke.
The internet went completely crazy over that because Jim Jones wasn't holding back even a little, like not at all. But hold up, that's the exact moment Uncle Murda stepped in and checked Jim real quick. Murda fired back with a cold line that froze the whole conversation. He said Jay has business partners, but 50 has brothers. And yeah, that one cut deep.
Because these people are made to break you. They want to break artists. They want to break you. Nobody believe you. I was in 50 crib, no roaches and all that. We in a little spot, small spot. Nobody believed in that. He playing Get Rich or Die Trying already in the crib. He had asked that done. Like, all right. Let's just go off. Looking like everybody get confused because they don't think that your dream is gonna come.
Mm-hmm.
But you gotta, you know what I mean? That's why I respect him because we had more of an assist. We had 50 Cent. So I knew I was okay. He sold 11 million records. Even motherfucker, he had deals with Jay-Z and them, but Jay-Z ain't gonna never. Dude, I always tell him all the time, Jay-Z ain't treat me like this.
Oh, he definitely like playing, you know, this.
Jay-Z might not even say hard as though.
So we just, the party we was just at in Miami with the Kardashians, Serena Williams and everybody. We just finished performing. Great time, right? First thing my man here want to say, yeah, lit. Jay-Z will never take you to a party like this.
You might get invited.
Nah, I don't get invited.
That line alone shook people up. No warning, no filter. Jay keeps people close when the money makes sense, but 50 keeps his circle locked in off love and loyalty. And listen closely to that difference. That single sentence flipped the entire conversation, and suddenly the internet started leaning hard toward 50 Cent. Loyalty became the centerpiece because 50 keeps people around for being solid from day one. No shortcuts at all. In a recent interview with Uncle Murda and Tony Yayo, both of them made it crystal clear that Jay-Z never looked out for Murda the way 50 did. According to Yayo, that's because 50 never forgot who stood next to him when he had absolutely nothing. Those same people stayed 10 toes down through the struggle, and 50 has been rewarding that loyalty ever since. That's exactly why his circle has stayed tight for decades. No fake energy allowed. But hold up, here's where it gets interesting. The internet is completely split on this right now. Some folks say Jim Jones is right, and Tony Yayo is just riding 50's success, while others are going all out defending Jay-Z. Their argument is that just because Jay doesn't showcase generosity online like 50 does, doesn't mean he isn't taking care of people quietly behind the scenes.
Like tight with his money, Eminem, tight with his money, so you learn to kind of save instead of spending. 50 encourages, yo, you get money, go get a house. That's like Uncle Murda, he's down with us now. He was signed to Jay-Z, he got his first house being down with us.
Right.
He gave me my first Jacob watch, and 50 said, yo, don't forget, blow your head off for that. See, 50 he was ahead of his time. That's what
some people argued, but online, a lot more folks were irritated that Jim Jones even jumped into this in the first place. Fans felt like it had nothing to do with him at all, and they made that opinion loud and clear. One person commented, Jim Jones talking crazy like he didn't run when somebody put hands on him. Another wrote, everybody knows Jimmy doing the most just to stay relevant. Someone else added, Jim Jones once said he was better than Nas, say less. The internet showed absolutely no mercy with those takes. But let's rewind for a second and really break down what Uncle Murda meant when he said Jay got business partners, but 50 got brothers. That wasn't slick talk or a throwaway line at all. That bar carried weight, history, and meaning, and it hit different for a reason. It came straight from lived experience. Murda's run at Rockefeller was short, and honestly, that alone says plenty. He saw firsthand how 50 operates when the cameras are off. No fake loyalty, no empty promises, just real action. 50 stays solid with the people who stayed solid with him, always keeping it real and making sure his crew eats right alongside him. That's a level of loyalty money can't buy. Murda is walking proof of that. Same story with Tony Yale. He's been locked in with 50 since the early G-Unit mixtape days, and decades later, that bond still hasn't cracked. 50 still makes sure Yayo gets booked on international tours and keeps his name in the mix. And according to Yayo, it's not about private jets, luxury hotels, or flashing cash. It's about growth. 50 makes sure his people learn how to move smart, manage their money, and build real wealth that actually lasts. That type of mentorship is rare in this industry. Murda even revealed he bought his first house after signing with 50. That changed his life completely. Once Murda linked up with G-Unit, 50 didn't just hand out opportunities. He created real lanes that permanently shifted things for the people who stayed loyal from day one and never switched sides. He kept him active in music, business moves, and public support. And that right there is the entire message. Loyalty builds legacy. 50 Cent doesn't treat his people like temporary co-workers you clock in with. He treats them like family that came up through the grind with him. He moves off loyalty, not convenience, and that's what separates him from everybody else. Now compare that to Jay-Z's circle, because that's a completely different situation. Jay moves like a corporation. You're around when it benefits both sides, but once the business slows, the connection fades just as fast. Just look at the track record. Dame Dash, Kanye West, Beanie Siegel, Jay cut ties and kept it moving. And it didn't stop there. Even the person who helped Jay get his first real break caught the same cold shoulder. Jazz was mentoring Jay before the world even knew his name, helping him find his sound and his lane. But once Jay blew up, the energy shifted, and Jazz was left behind without a second thought. That spoke volumes. And don't forget DeHaven, one of Jay-Z's oldest friends from Marcy, who put in real work early on. But once Jay fully stepped into that corporate mindset, it was like DeHaven stopped existing altogether. Things got ugly fast. DeHaven went public saying Jay lied on him, labeled him a snitch, and completely turned his back. That's cold, no way around it. When someone asked DeHaven what his relationship with Jay-Z was really like, you could hear the hurt in his voice. To him, it was never just business, it was brotherhood. So when Uncle Murda said Jay got business partners, but 50 got brothers, he wasn't just throwing shade, he was speaking from what he personally witnessed. Jay moves like a CEO, and that means cutting people off the moment they stop serving the brand. That's the difference right there. It's not personal, it's business. But that mindset leaves behind a trail of people who once held you down, now feeling iced out and forgotten. That's why you rarely hear anyone describe Jay as loyal. They call him smart, strategic, business-minded, and all of that can be true. But loyalty, that word doesn't come up often with him. Meanwhile, with 50 Cent, it's the complete opposite. His loyalty runs all the way back to his come-up days. The same people who stood with him early are still right there, and the only ones missing are the ones who switched up. At the end of the day, 50 moves with loyalty first, while Jay moves with strategy first. And that contrast is exactly why this debate refuses to die. People aren't just arguing about music anymore. They're arguing about values, about what loyalty really means when money, power, and fame get involved. Some fans say Jay-Z played the game exactly how it's supposed to be played, cold but effective. Others say that mindset costs you real relationships, and once they're gone, you can't buy them back. With 50 Cent, the pattern has always been different. He doesn't erase people from the story just because the chapter changes. If you were there during the grind, you're still part of the picture now. That's why his circle looks the same years later, just with bigger wins and louder success. No revolving door, no constant replacements. And that's why Uncle Murda's words landed so hard. It wasn't about dissing Jay or hyping 50 for no reason. It was about showing two completely different ways of moving at the top. One runs like a boardroom, the other runs like a family meeting. Both can win, but only one builds bonds that actually last. That's why this conversation struck a nerve online. People see themselves in it. Loyalty versus leverage. Brotherhood versus business. And depending on how you move in life, you already know which side you're on. Neither mindset is wrong. One builds empires, the other builds real bonds. But let's be real, one of them just feels way more genuine. If you're rocking with this breakdown and want more real talk on hip-hop's biggest feuds and power moves, make sure you subscribe to Drip Z, smash that like button, drop your thoughts in the comments, share this video, and hit that boost button to help it grow. Much love to everyone tapping in.